Is up, everybody? How's everybody doing? Welcome to DD Live. We're gonna do horror news with hot dudes, and I give Davey Deathray full credit for that title. We
Oh,
get a little
thank you.
crazy in our little DM sometimes, and we were first
Yeah.
off. Let me address Nick. Nick had a family emergency. I don't want to say too much, but and of course we love our brother Nick to death, and we couldn't call this Hit the Bricks without Nick. So we
Mhm.
decided, hey, Davey, why don't you come on my channel? We'll do DD Live. And then Davey was like, we could call it horror news. I think it just kind of like blurted out of your mouth, right?
Yeah. I think
It
you said
worked.
something like hot news, and I'm like, horror news with hot dudes
Yeah,
or something
yeah.
like yeah.
It was one of those things that just kind of formed itself naturally. I don't know, but
Mhm.
yeah, we're happy. I feel like, man, since the last time we did it, Hit the Bricks, we've had so many freaking news stories. So we're just
Yeah.
gonna cover like the big ones for today. How's things been going on your channel, brother?
Things are going great. I was doing, because we do hit the bricks, what, a couple times a month. I think it's been a while though since we've done it. I still do cover the news over on my channel. So, I see a lot of you guys from the Davey Deathray side of things. But if you haven't found my channel yet, I could never replace somebody as awesome as Lee, but I can supplement
Yeah,
if
well,
you just
it's not
want
that hard
more
actually.
kind of content like that, because guys, if you don't know my YouTube story, Lee is one of Lee, Dave McCrae, and Barry from Wolfman's Got Nards were like the guys that made me want to start doing this kind of thing. So, a similar kind of supplementary vibe. I cover the news over there. I was doing it as live streams. And then I found that I'm like spending all this time editing and chopping up the stories individually. So I was like, why don't I just do a news show? So I've been doing pre-recorded news now, and I've got a
Nice.
nice little I don't know if you've checked it out, Lee, but I've got like a horror news thing above me, and I've got a little
Yeah.
box that clicks down to each title. So a little bit of a production value. And I've been doing these trailer reactions and quarter speed breakdowns, and I just started calling those trailer terror. So that's what my new show that I've got. So things have been cooking, man. I've
That's
got some
good.
fun stuff planned for 2026 as well.
Man, I have from now until January. Oh my god, I have because there's. Are you going to do any kind of end of year lists, like pre-produced, pre-recorded?
I might do one. I've never done
You
one
should.
before, but I feel like I'm at that point where I've seen enough movies this year that I
Yeah,
could legit do one. Yeah,
you got a letterbox, don't you?
I do. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Because man, I live and die by that letterbox because I just kind of add things to it along the way throughout the year, and I put it in the
Hmm.
place it should be, and so it does the work for me. So at the end of the year, when I do my top 10, I just go straight. Oh, there it is. There's my top. I don't have to like think about it. That's the
Yeah.
nice thing, you know. So yeah, you should though, man. I think kind of. I've been doing freaking rankings since I started my channel, but it's a nice way to kind of like take stock, and you used to get pretty good views too at the end of the year because everybody's watching end of year
Everyone's
lists, and
curious.
and
Yeah.
how did your remember when we did that Halloween ranking, and
Yeah.
I didn't look at your numbers. Did that do okay?
It did pretty well. Like for me, it did pretty well. I'm happy with. I'd like what I realized about that is people, there was like a part of me, it was like a confidence thing. It was like I do these videos that were like 10 or 12 minutes long for like movie reviews, and they weren't getting very many views. But then
Yeah.
I found when I did a 44-minute video talking about and ranking the Halloween franchise, and not only saying like, oh, this one sucks, it's number 12, blah, 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 like trying to give some positive points to every movie on the list and just having it be conversational, the numbers went really well. And then I did something similar with a Scream breakdown for that, or a
Hmm.
breakdown of that trailer. And that's the best video as far as performance goes. That's the best one I've had. And that was like 39 minutes. So I realized people want more. People want the long form.
Yeah.
So I'm just sort of like, okay, I'll lean into that when I can. And yeah, that went really well for me. And a lot of people came over and they're like, hey, I found you from Drum Dums. So
Hmm.
definitely
Dude,
helps.
I've
Did it.
literally noticed how YouTube, they're changing up their algorithm, and it seems like if you have passion and you put a lot of work into a project, and it shows, doesn't
Hmm.
matter your subscriber count. And to back that up, I was literally looking today, and I saw there was a channel with like 260,000 subscribers, and I was like, oh, they must be
Yeah.
like killing it. Their view count was like 1,000, 1,500.
Yeah.
1,000. And that's and I was like, I'm curious. Let me click on one of these videos. What's going on here? And I click on one of it, and it felt like they were phoning it in. Of course, I'm not going to out them, but
Gotcha.
I think YouTube's starting to favor passion,
Mm,
and I think
mhm.
and I think creativity. Like when I look at my home feed, it's like the subscriber count doesn't really matter as much as interesting topics. And it seems like
Yeah.
interesting topics always find their way to the top and they end up in the home feed. And I love that you doing that because back when I started, it felt like it was more of a subscriber count type deal. And I think it's where it needs to be now. Everybody
Mhm.
needs to put some effort into it. So and you're definitely doing that. So you're kicking ass, man.
Trying to keep up on it. I've got I promised everybody a new ranking of A Nightmare on Elm Street because I revisited that during spooky season, and that had a huge shakeup in my ranking. Way more
Mhm.
movement than my Halloween ranking. And I felt like for the very first time, I was like, oh, now I can really pinpoint what the problems are for me in these movies that are lesser. So don't worry, guys, it's coming. It's just a very busy
Mhm.
time of the year for all sorts of reasons, but I'm working on it.
I think if I was thinking about this the other day, I think if I can squeeze it in, which I probably won't, but I was thinking like, how many Christmas horror movies have I watched up to this point?
Mm.
Maybe I could do a ranking and just kind of go through the list of like if I don't know, maybe it's 30, maybe it's 20, maybe it's 40, who knows? And just like rank because everybody does top 10 Christmas horror movies.
Yeah.
So I'm always trying to think, what can I do that's different? So maybe if I like just, hey, these are every Christmas horror movie I've ever seen, I'm going to rank them all for you. And of course, Silent Night, Deadly Night would have like 7 of those movies by the time
Yeah.
I do it. So let me
Yeah,
say
it's
hello to some people in the chat here.
for
We
sure.
got Stephanie, we got Tia, Ashton, Jay Beach, Jamie Hart. Going down, let me go back up here. Linda, how are you doing? Adrian James. Does it say Adrian James? Yeah, I think it did. Okay. So yeah.
Mhm.
Gory Tiger. Yeah, some beautiful Chester. Beautiful, beautiful people in the chat.
Oh, yeah.
Chat, what news story are you looking forward to the most? And if I were to read them off to you, it would be Scream 7, Ready or Not 2, Strangers Chapter 3, 28 years later, The Bone Temple, and Exorcist with ScarJo. Which
Mhm.
I mean, and ScarJo just today, they're saying that she's in negotiations to be in the Batman 2, which
Oh, wow.
I think she's already like pound for pound the actress that's in the most billion-dollar movies or something like that. So if she jumps over to DC, I mean, she's going to be unbeatable, I would think.
Yeah. Yeah, I found it really interesting with her joining Flanagan's Exorcist because he usually has his core group of people that he likes to work with.
Yeah.
He doesn't he feels very comfortable. His wife is in a lot of his projects. She's really great. And then he's got, Henry Thomas. He kind of like brought Henry Thomas back,
Yeah.
which is pretty cool. Little Elliot from ET.
Yeah, he
But I
uses
do
Henry
like,
Thomas and everything.
yeah, yeah. And with ScarJo signing up for Exorcist, I'm like, it always makes me think this person must like horror, and maybe she just hasn't had the opportunity to jump in there. And it's got to be refreshing for somebody that's used to however many years of Marvel, whatever it was, 15 years of Marvel. Then she jumps into Jurassic World. And then when you get to do something like comedy or like a real comedy
Mhm.
or something like horror, I would imagine for those creatives, like for those performers, it's got to be so much more satisfying because you get to play around a little bit more. It probably feels a little more liberating. So I'm like, maybe she's looking for that. And I wouldn't be surprised if she jumps on as some sort of producer, because that's another way to
Mhm.
get money, save the production money, and just be able to push the film even more. So this is huge for
Mhm.
Exorcist.
I think horror is a good way to keep your career going forward because there's been cases of this in the past where a very successful actress or actor, um, just to mix things up a little bit, they'll jump
Hmm.
into like a horror thriller, white knuckle thriller type property. I mean, hell,
Yeah.
you could even say like freaking Harrison Ford did like What Lies Beneath,
What
which
Lies
was a
Beneath is
thriller.
so good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it just kind of, oh wow, the range here, and it adds to their portfolio, which is
Hmm.
always a cool idea.
And I think,
I
and I'm not
Go
saying
ahead.
that I'm not saying that Scarlett Johansson is like of advanced age, but I do think sometimes as actors get older, again, she's not there yet, but as they get older, and maybe they're not looked at for as many of those, you know, prime kind of mainstream roles, that horror is something that sort of opens up for them, you know.
Yep.
But
Or
she
never
could just be a
dies.
really big fan. I mean, The Exorcist is massive, so who knows?
Hmm. And I'm curious. I don't know how you felt about David Gordon Green's Exorcist Believer. I was not a fan at all. So I just
I
thought it
never
was such a
saw it.
yeah, dude.
I
I think the collective is that it wasn't good. I know there's like
Yeah.
Nick, I think likes it, and there's a couple people that like it, but I think overall it just felt. I'm just gonna be honest. It didn't feel like Exorcist, weirdly
Mm,
enough, even though it had Exorcist type stuff in it. But it
mhm.
felt more like David Gordon Green's choppy direction kind of got in the way. I don't know who he used for his editor, but that particular movie, the editing like kind of gets in the way of the movie. It's kind of weird.
Mm.
So
Yeah,
yeah,
you know, so I did not see it for a few reasons. I think, you know, a small part of it is the vitriol. People like
yeah,
really piled on the guy, and I'm just like, oh, I don't like. And I loved Ends. I love those. You know, everyone in the chat knows that I like his Halloween movies a lot. They're all in the my top 5 of my ranking.
hmm
But I'm not the biggest Exorcist fan as far as a franchise goes. To me, it's one of those weird franchises. Like I brought this up when I covered the ScarJo news. Was Exorcist is kind of like another huge '70s property, Jaws. It's
yeah.
like there's one other movie in the franchise that's good, and the rest of the franchise is like get rid of it. You know.
That's a perfect comparison.
Yeah, so I was
Perfect
just sort of
comparison.
like, they're both classic films, right? And they're both considered horror, but also classic mainstream pop films. And um, I'm just not very. I like wild possession movies like Demons or Night of the
Yeah.
Demons or friggin' Evil Dead. Like the religious possession movies, they seem so corny to me. I grew up
Well, it's
Catholic.
such a
It's not enough.
singular like a singular idea, that
Yeah.
Jaws, the shark, how far can you go with that idea?
Yeah.
And
Yep.
exorcism. And it just so happens that they did it the absolute best you could possibly imagine
Yes.
with the best director. So
Hmm.
it's understandable. These aren't slasher franchises, so it's
Yeah.
understandable that there's only so far you can take it. And
It seems like every exorcism movie is, in a sense, a remake of The Exorcist, other than, you know, Exorcist 3 stands on its own because it's a story that takes place in the same world, but it's much
yeah,
more
that's
of
why it
like a
works.
investigative cop drama. And then I would say even like what is it, Exorcism of Emily Rose is like a
Mhm.
courtroom drama. So it's like you gotta really get creative to
That's why
not make
those
it
work,
just
you
yeah.
think outside
Yep.
the box. Tia, Nina, I had to highlight this. Can you imagine your first date is The Exorcist? Oh
That's a
my
good
god.
start. That's a good start. Were you conceived after that first date? I mean, they would be playing
Yeah.
pretty fast and loose, but that would be wild too.
Like when they walked out of the theater, they were like, "Let's high five and then we'll meet up maybe another day because I'm kind of
Yeah.
spent right."
Yeah.
Well, which brings up a good question. A movie date that you've had in the past. Is there a movie date
Mm.
that really sticks out to you for some reason or another? Like, wow, this was kind of a could have been good, could have been bad. I don't know. Do you have a story
I
like that?
I've had I dated this young woman when I lived back in Juneau, and I remember we went and saw Rob Zombie's Halloween, and she started crying. It was too
That's awesome.
brutal for her. She started crying.
She started
Uh
crying. When did she start
yeah.
crying?
I think it was when when we're in the depth of the Danielle Harris run around topless, just getting brutalized, you know, section
Yeah,
of the film, just naked chicks getting brutalized. It is
yeah.
a tough movie, and I felt really bad
Crying.
for her. We had been dating for a while, so it wasn't like a first date or anything. But I do remember
Mhm.
Deep Blue Sea when I was in high school. I remember my high school girlfriend just like squeezing my knee so hard during some of those moments. And then
Yeah.
at H2O, we went and saw H2O together. I innocently put my arm around her, like no joke. I just put my arm around her. She grabbed my hand and put it like right inside her bra. And that was the coolest thing because I was 16 years old. Like that was the
Yeah.
coolest thing ever.
I'm trying to think if I have I'm sure I did like a story there's a couple of stories. One is Terminator 2, showing my
Mm,
age here. Terminator 2. I think it was opening night, and but our little theater only showed 2 movies, and it was packed.
Yeah.
And I was on a date, and we sat in the front row, and the screen is like literally like 6 feet in front of us. And to make matters even worse, I had to sit on the floor in front of her. So this is me watching
Wow.
Terminator 2 in 92. And
Damn. What an
I was
experience,
I was
though.
it was still awesome.
Yeah.
That's the crazy. It was still like the greatest movie ever.
I was in 4th grade when that movie came out, and my big brother, who works in, he works in the industry. He's a 3D matte painter and all that
That's
kind of
awesome.
stuff. He
That's
would
right.
take he took me to so many great movies when I was a kid, and I remember like that was special because I was like 10 years old or whatever, and I
Mhm.
was able to see it. It was maybe not opening night, but it might have been. And I remember being like in the schoolyard the next day telling all my friends like what happened in the movie and to be able to go see an R-rated movie,
Yeah.
opening night like that. It felt like the coolest thing ever. So yeah, that's a really good
That's a good transition. And I was actually talking to Davey about an icebreaker for this episode. For some reason, I've been thinking about Rocky 2, like for
yeah.
like the last couple of weeks. And I think it's because Tarantino, there's a channel called James Bake Sale, James Whale Bake Sale.
Yeah,
That's what it is.
yep, yeah, I totally know what
And
you're talking
I think
about.
everybody knows James Whale Bake Sale now. Mostly it's Tarantino talking about X movie, and Tarantino talking about Rocky 2, and the thing shot up like over. Last I checked, it was like 200 and something thousand views, just because everybody talks about Rocky, but you don't hear too many, especially like high profile directors talking about Rocky 2. And I got to admit, my whole life, I've always been more curious about Rocky 2, the behind the scenes of Rocky 2, because it's again, you don't hear that much about Rocky 2. There's a little snippet in the behind the scenes of Rocky Balboa when they're kind of between takes, and he's talking to the guy who played his son, and he's telling him about Rocky 2 and about how they handed him a camera he'd never directed before. Here, go do Rocky 2. So I told Davey, I was like, you know what? Rocky 2 sticks out to me because, and I don't know how I phrase this, an exhilarating sequence, right? That's from
Yeah,
a
like an extended.
for an extended period of time. And the
Yeah.
first movie that came to my mind was, and chat, throw one in there for you too, but first was Rocky 2. The second Adrian says when until the end of the movie is like it's like a freaking chest defibrillator. It's a jolt of adrenaline, you know, because the second before win and the second after win are 2 totally different moments. And
Mhm.
that movie that starts the training montage. What are you waiting for? Tickets? All the way to the greatest on-screen fight, I think, in cinema history compared to maybe Rocky 4. Those 2
Mhm.
fights, you can't be. I think I'll even say Rocky 2, I think edges out Rocky 4 just a little bit, just because of the intensity of the fight, both fighters falling at the end and getting up at the exact same time, or Rocky getting up like half a second, 10, and then he wins the fight. And it's just
Yeah.
that's why Rocky works so well when it's done right. It's just because
Yeah.
it's like a shot of adrenaline. But for an extended amount of time, what was that, like maybe 30 minutes? And your heart
Mhm.
never stops beating for 30 minutes, you know?
Mhm.
So what's your example?
Well, it's funny because you had brought up Terminator 2, and I came up with a few because I don't think I have one that's as good as Rocky 2 because Rocky 2 is friggin'
There's
amazing.
nothing as good as Rocky 2 as far as that particular
Yeah, I
subject.
mean, especially when it comes to bringing showcasing the intensity of boxing on film. I mean, Rocky wrote the book on that, right? Like,
Yeah.
and so I would say, so I'll stick with a sports theme for 1 second because this movie is one of my favorite comedies. It's one of my favorite sports comedies of all time. But the final act of Major League, where you basically
Oh,
watch like the
yes.
last inning of that game kind of in real time, they sort of
Yeah.
compress most of the game, but you get some really intense, like good baseball like moments in this wildly hilarious R-rated comedy film. But they handle the baseball so well. So I really dig that. Terminator 2 came to mind because like once they get to Cyberdyne and they're trying to get the arm and the
Yeah.
chip, like from there on out, like dealing with the SWAT team. T-1000 shows up, T-1000 chases them to the refinery, and like it seems like that's like a 35-40 minute chunk of the film that is just nonstop, and just
for a director to be able to keep up that momentum for that amount of time, you know, it takes a skilled director for sure.
Yeah, and it seems like it's almost real time as well. So a couple other ones that stood out to me, I got to throw some love to the horror master Alfred Hitchcock, because the movie Rope, that I don't hear a lot of people talking about,
Never seen it.
pretty much shot in real time. And I think he only cut the film because back then reels were like 12 minutes long or whatever it was. He only cut the film when the reel was like running out. So they shoot it almost like a stage play, and they would have characters walking through a doorway, and he would edit it on the seam of the doorway. So
like a black spot.
It feels like it's a seamless play that you're watching. It's got Jimmy Stewart in it. It's really good. It's not necessarily horror, but man, there's some psychological kind of stuff going on there that's very interesting. It's about two guys. I can give the premise. These two guys figure that they're intellectually superior to one of their really good friends that they've grown up with and gone to boarding school with. They want to know what it's like to kill somebody because they believe that they have the right to know what that feels like. One of them feels bad about it after, one of them doesn't. And the opening shot of the movie is they've stuffed him into a chest. They've put a tablecloth over the chest, and everyone is showing up to the apartment for his engagement dinner, the dead guy's engagement dinner. And it's all about Jimmy Stewart trying to like, he starts to put together because he knows these kids so well. He like was their teacher. It's just very tense. And then I got a couple other quick ones. Return of the Jedi, the final act. Say what you want about the movie.
Good one.
Some of the best editing and real time. And the final act of Alien. I think the original Alien does a really good job.
I was going to, Evil Alex said Aliens. As he said that, I started thinking about The Thing. As soon as you get to the defibrillator, there's a good stretch of time where the paranoia really kicks in. And you don't trust, like, you don't trust people, but then you really don't trust anybody as soon as that, like, because it just kind of, you know, it kind of leaps up on you, I guess, literally. And
there's movies like that and Alien and stuff. It's like it's so close to real time. They probably compress it a little bit, but it feels The Thing too. It feels like a good 40-45 minutes where you're maybe experiencing a couple hours in that world. It feels very like you're right there. It puts you right there. It immerses you. Yeah.
So I guess this would be a good transition. Because I could say, I think first Scream, at a certain point, especially when Stu and Billy present themselves. What I love about that reveal is it's not just okay, they're the killer, maybe another 5 minutes and then the movie's over. No, we're the killer. Now let's psychologically and physically torture Sydney for like the next 20 minutes and then have a complete meltdown amongst each other while we're doing it. And Sydney's got to sit back and watch these two, like, are they going to kill me now? Or are they going to kill each other? You know? Scream's a good example, but I guess that's a good tie into Scream 7 because for some reason there was this massive rumor that came, just a rumor that came out that there was going to be a trailer today. And let me tell you my initial thought process when I heard that. I'm being completely honest with you, Davey, and I haven't told this before we went live, but it's not happening. There's no way it's happening. And the reason I thought that was only because of timing. And correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't the first trailer come out not too long ago? It feels like it was only like what a month and a half.
Yeah, maybe 6 weeks ago, something like that.
6 weeks, yeah. So I don't know why they would put out another trailer this early in the game. I would think they would save it for, I would think probably mid-January, early January is a better time if you want to release another, because I think that the first trailer gives me everything I want to know. So
yeah.
Davey, I got a question for you, and this is just all speculation. Why do you think these things happen? Why do you think that rumor got so big?
I don't know. I guess some people maybe they just crop up because whoever creates the rumor wants to get a little attention and see how many people bite.
Yeah.
That's probably something to do with it. Maybe they hear that it's possible or something like that, or they're just getting some bad intel. Like,
Yeah.
who knows? Who knows? Because I had heard from a few different sources independently that it could be today. So it wasn't just somebody that like heard it directly from this other person. It was like I heard it from a few different folks. But yeah, it makes more sense because the movie's going to be February 27th. So it makes more sense that it would be like second week of January and then just a little over a month, another 5-6 weeks. They'll probably drop a TV ad that'll be a little bit juicier or different during the Super Bowl. So keep an eye out for that because that'll be just like 2 weeks before.
Yeah, you're right. I
So there
bet we'll
might
get
be
a spot
yeah,
during the
a
Super Bowl.
TV spot that might be show a little something different. Maybe it'll keep
Yeah.
some of the footage from the previous trailers. But yeah, I don't know why these things happen. I guess we're being tested, Lee.
Yeah.
And
It's just social media, you know? I think you're
yeah,
right. I think there's a little bit of wanting to be first. I don't
sure.
know. Maybe
Yeah,
that's it. Maybe wanting the cred, the street cred, like, oh yeah, that.
yeah,
But that's the thing too, and maybe that's why I'm careful about what I say because I don't want to develop a reputation of you can't really trust what this guy says.
sure.
So I kind of
Yeah.
take the approach of I don't say anything. I just
Mhm.
kind of react to things. I don't come up with, hey, I've never had, I'm trying to think back because I don't want to lie here, but off the top of my head, I've never had a source for anything. I've never sought
Mm.
out a source for anything.
Yeah.
I've had people reach out to me, my DMs, and say, "Hey, I got a scoop on Halloween. You're going to want to get this out." And I'm like, "Yeah, you go tell that to somebody else. I don't need those scoops. I don't care so
Yeah.
much. I just kind of react to things. And but
I
there is
get
there's a market for that though in YouTube, and sometimes that's
yeah.
somebody's whole identity. If it's your whole identity is getting scoops, that's
Yeah.
dangerous business because you got to be right on the money all the. And I'm glad I'm not in that
Yeah.
business. I don't know.
I'm
What's your
I'm
thoughts
not
on it?
I'm not into that either. And I had brought it up on maybe a stream or so. Just that it was, hey, I've heard that we may be
Hmm.
getting this thing on Thursday. So keep an eye out. Like if that happens, just keep an eye out. But this wasn't something, I figured I was like, you know what, I'm not gonna worry about like waking up and checking if it dropped because I just know that Scream is evergreen. So I
Yeah,
knew
it
like,
is.
you know what, if I can't get my trailer, if it dropped this morning and I couldn't get my trailer reaction out until later on in the day or until tonight, like it's still gonna do fine. It's
Hmm.
my channel isn't so big that I'm gonna like miss out on that necessarily. But yeah, it's I see it a lot more on Twitter as far as like people just dropping random stuff. I'll see it on Facebook. I guess for whatever, maybe I just don't see it as much on YouTube. But yeah, I get
Hmm.
sent like I have people that send me things too, and it's funny because it's like I want to be like Lee. You're pretty accessible. At least like when I was just a fan and everything, and I would occasionally comment and try to be thoughtful or whatever. You were always like really engaging and all that kind of stuff.
Oh yeah,
And I
talking
try to
to
be
you.
accessible too. And then
Hmm.
sometimes you open up your door and you're like, fuck, this person burned the door down.
Hmm.
Uh, Because then,
Yeah.
then I just start getting like, sometimes it's like multiple, like just, ooh, there's a spoiler about this and a spoiler about this, and just all these like clickbaity things. We got that thing about the thing. John Carpenter confirms that a thing
Yeah.
sequel is
Yeah.
in the works. Like it could just be a comic book or a video game that he wants to do. When we see that stuff, I saw one the other day. Netflix has confirmed that the spinoff is about Nancy Wheeler, and it's like, that's a book that just came out,
Hmm.
but that you see a graphic and the text looks really good and there's a logo at the center and the top and it looks like it's coming. It's like if I don't hear it from Variety, Hollywood Reporter, Deadline, or it doesn't come down the pike through Bloody Disgusting, then I'm just like, I'm acting like it ain't real. That's
Well,
my thing.
also, I think the loses are much, much, much more memorable than the wins. And
Yeah.
I can give you like just
Yeah.
a, s- a little story, not really a story, but just an incident that happened when before Halloween Ends came out. And we didn't really know anything about, well, I don't think at that time we didn't even really know too much about Corey. But I
Hmm.
remember there were channels and they would run with every scoop that they would get about Halloween Ends. And I remember one of them, some guy leaked this image of this toy that looked like a Hobo Myers. Do you remember this?
Oh yeah, yeah. I remember Hobo Myers. Yes, I
Yeah,
remember
Hobo
that
Myers,
rumor that he was
a
coming back.
rumor, and then there were channels that took that and was like, "Oh, that's no, I know, I got a source that told me, yeah, this is, yeah, he's gonna look like this in the movie," and it turns out that he didn't look. There was no Hobo Myers. I mean, I guess there was
Yeah.
sort, but it didn't look
Well,
anything like,
there's
you know.
yeah, there's the guy that says I'm Michael Myers or whatever,
Mhm,
there's that guy, but he's not Michael
mhm.
Myers.
Yeah, and I think that was just
uh,
like a custom figure some guy made or something like that, and
yeah.
but it happens
Well,
all the time, those guys, they wanna get some sort of clout, and so they wanna
yeah.
be a source for something, so I'll just make something up, and then I'll just ghost them when, the dust settles. So,
Well, remember we had that rumor that so and so has picked up a Nightmare on Elm Street, like it's all go, and
yep.
the studio was like, no, like not even close.
Yeah,
Sorry.
and the artwork for the Steelbook edition, there were a
Sure.
couple of
Yeah.
different that popped out
Yeah.
on that, so
So there is a little bit of that clout chasing and hoping that everyone wants, so everyone that's a creator out there, of course you want your channel or your persona or whatever to like pop. You want to like burst that bubble and you want everyone to know who you are.
yeah.
But I don't know. I guess like, yes, I was hopeful that there was a Scream 7 trailer coming out. But I certainly wasn't running around being like, guys, it's definitely coming. Like I'm the one. It's just sort of like I I will cover it when it comes out because I love the franchise. And it's not so much about clout chasing as it is just sharing my passion with all of you guys and being nerds about the stuff we love.
Yeah, Davey, and you can kind of compare it to just trying to get YouTube rich quick, and
Sure.
I've always played the long game. I've seen so
Hmm.
many channels come and go, and some of them they
Hmm.
spike and then they just drop off super quick. And
Yeah.
yeah, I've always just kind of like kept my head low, work hard, put out my videos, and just do my thing and not
Yeah.
try to chase clout. And I think
Yeah.
I'm different now, headspace wise, 10 years into it than I was,
Hmm.
say, 2 years in. There was a time where I kind of bought into my own hype, and I thought I was the shit. And I got a little bit egotistical, after, especially when Halloween 2018 was coming out, and I thought my shit
Mm.
didn't stink, and I was getting crazy views. And luckily I was able to check myself on that pretty early on. And I was like, wait, you know what? Do I want to do this for a long time, or do I want to keep trying to up my game as far as
Yeah.
like what I'll do? How far will I go to get clicks, to get views? And
Yeah.
sometimes you can sell your soul to get those clicks. And so, yeah,
Yeah.
I'm happy
I
with
think
what I'm doing.
yeah, and it's a fine line, I think people can tell when you're being disingenuous. And so I
Yeah.
think like there's something to be said for that. And that's why certain things I just like, people might be like, why don't you cover this or why didn't you do a video on this? And it's like, well, because I don't want to fake it. And that's a reason why I don't do traditional movie reviews. Like on a live stream, I might let the people know like what I've been watching lately and kind of give you guys a review or I do some over on the horror show channel as well. But I
Yeah.
found like there's so many great people out there doing reviews. Like I think I think what I need to do is find what I do that's different that makes people want to come over and check out my channel and not just try to,
Hmm.
oh, Lee did this or Nick did that, or I saw Cody Leach cover this thing. It's like, no, no, no.
Yeah.
Like we might all end up covering the same things, but it's like I'm sort of I kind of have the blinders on as far as like I'm going to cover this thing no matter what. And Eli, I see your chat there. I am not tired of you. And definitely not talking about you. Eli is a great supporter, and whenever Eli sends me something, you're one of the few people out there that has my phone number, Eli. So just don't share it. No, but Eli will send me good shit. Like he sent me the Portrait of God news, which I had no idea about that short. But
Hmm.
Sam Raimi and Jordan Peele are teaming up to produce a film based on this short, and Eli sent me that. That's good shit. Like
Yeah.
I need to know about that. So I appreciate
Yeah,
you,
we
Eli.
have certain people. Like I have Jose. I get Instagram messages from one or two devoted
Mm,
watchers, and for
that's
years,
awesome.
and they constantly will send me scoops, and I try to thank them every time I can. And
Mhm.
some people, they're just the most giving people. But what you were saying about I used to do that. I used to say, I got to cover this and I got to cover this and I got to cover this and I got to cover this. You can't do everything. And I
Yeah.
literally had somebody comment on a recent video that I did. And he says, hey, I just want you to know, I'm glad you're not covering Welcome to Derry and and
Mhm.
Stranger Things, because every horror channel right now is covering those things, and I'm
Mhm.
kind of sick of watching it. And so it was, yeah, and but and it could flip, and somebody could send you
Sure.
something that I've
Yeah.
been covering, and you know what I mean.
Oh,
So
sure.
it's not, and it wasn't even like a strategic thing. It was just like I kind of want to do Silent Night, Deadly Night right now, and I don't have time
Mhm.
to do Welcome to Derry and all this other stuff and Stranger Things. So
Mhm.
it kind of worked out like that. That somebody out there would say, "Hey, there's some variety here in the horror YouTube space.
Yeah.
You can
I had somebody reached out to me and they're like, I don't even go to Bloody Disgusting anymore. I just wait for your videos to come out
yeah,
because you cover the stories I actually care about. And I'm like, I ended up putting that in my news show where I say that. I'm like, where we sift through everything and we cover the stories that you guys care about, because then that way
yeah,
you
dude. I
just
was
get
gonna do
it's condensed.
yesterday. I was gonna do a Ready or Not 2 trailer reaction, and I was like, you know what? I bet Davey's already done. Davey's probably covered everything and then some, and I don't have to do it. So, and
I
you know what? That's a good segue because I still have not seen the trailer for Ready or Not 2. So,
Oh, shoot.
would you like to watch my live reaction?
Yeah, yeah, let's
Let me,
experience that together.
yeah, let me pull it up real quick here. I got to get faster with StreamYard. I get to yap and then
Oh, no, you're cool. You have a
yeah.
captive audience, Lee. You're all right.
I'm never fast with these things though. I take too long. Okay, here we go. So right now I got the strangers. But you know what? Since we're here, let's go ahead and quickly cover this, okay? Because I want to get David's thoughts on this, and then we'll go to Ready or
Mhm.
Not too, okay? Because this
Okay.
just dropped today. This brand new poster for the
Mhm.
Strangers Chapter 3. Now, Davey's been covering Ready or Not 2. I've been covering the Strangers Chapter 3, if you've been paying attention, because I did a reaction for that. I did a breakdown, shot by shot breakdown. I'm right now. I'm really excited for this movie, and I was kind of jokingly in my title said I'm the only guy excited for this movie.
Yeah, nobody
Everybody
else
else
is
is just
talking
like,
about.
yeah. If you want your the guy that's like supports Stranger Chapter 3, come over to my channel because I'm that
Yeah.
guy. But I like this new poster. I mean, I don't know. It's kind of cool looking. Have you seen the new trailer yet, Davey?
I watched your I did watch
The
your reaction. So I checked it
Okay.
out and I saw it through your reaction. So yeah, but I have not seen chapters 1 or 2.
That's right. You said you haven't. So,
I have only seen Pray at Night. That's the only Strangers movie I've ever seen.
wow, you've never even seen the 2008 one, huh?
No, I know I'm terrible.
That's crazy. Well, I mean, we like what we like. Are you a fan of like home invasion type movies, or was it just
Yeah.
like you heard that these movies were really bad and you just kind of avoided it?
No, for whatever reason, I just missed the original. And then I was hearing all sorts of great things about Pray at Night. And I saw a bunch of people, including Nick. This is, a year and a half ago where he was talking about, loving that movie so much. And I saw a bunch of other people and had Damien Maffei on the channel. And I was like,
Yep.
well, I got to watch some of his movies and catch up. And I really enjoyed Pray at Night. I'm sure I would enjoy the original. I've seen reviews and stuff of it, but I haven't heard good things
Dude,
about the Rennie
yeah,
Harland.
me and Damien Maffei became really good friends after. I honestly I don't remember how we connected. I had reviewed Pray at Night, and oh my god, I loved it. I did one of
Yeah, it's
those
really
out
good.
of theater Stardust reactions back when Stardust was,
Oh yeah,
and I, and,
Stardust.
and I lost my shit. And I had to put it in the review, and then I got a freaking um on Twitter at the time. Bailey Madison, who was the teenage girl in the movie, she saw my
Mhm.
review. She posted something on Twitter, really nice, tagging me and saying thank you so much and blah 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 and all this stuff. And so maybe that's kind of how I met Damien. But then me and Damien, we would start talking back and forth on our DMs. And we still to this day, and he would say, "Dude, have you seen this slasher and this slash?" Damien's I mean, he's the real deal. Like
He's a huge fan.
he knows a lot of deep cut slashers, and he turned me on
Yeah.
to like Alice, Sweet Alice, and Madhouse. And he was like, "No, dude, you don't want to watch Happy Birthday to Me. You want to watch Madhouse because they're both kind of the same movie."
Yeah.
But yeah,
He
he's good. He's good shit, man. I love Damien.
he's such a down to earth kind of regular dude. It was
Yeah,
really cool just having a
just like
chat with
Liana,
him, and just like
just
Miss
like
Leanna
Liana.
Beverage. How are you doing, Miss? And Damien Maffei is huge Black Christmas fan and all
Mhm.
that. And it was really cool that he got to be involved with the TCM game because I think he
Oh,
is a
he's a
gamer
massive
as
Black
well.
Christmas
And
fan. Yeah.
yeah.
Well,
So yeah.
I
All
just
just
did the 2019 revisited, and on X,
so
he couldn't
sorry.
wait to say, "What the fuck are you doing?" Because he hates that
Yeah.
movie.
That movie it is insulting. It does go too far.
Dude, I didn't expect it.
Yeah,
Like, I thought because sometimes there's a fever around a new movie, and I think
sure.
sometimes we can overreact. I've done it,
Yes.
and when that movie came out, 2019, nobody was nice to it for the most part. Everybody was just like,
Mhm.
"Oh my god, this is the biggest piece of shit on the planet Earth," and because it's new, I gotta hate it even more. And so I thought it's been 6 years, and it's the time. I feel like I want to do this revisited, and I'm curious to watch this movie again
Yeah.
and to see as an experiment. I hated it more, if that's
It is
possible.
it is so cringeworthy. It
Oh
is,
my god.
all those movies that some people are like, I know you've dealt with this with Predator Badlands, where it's just
Yeah.
like people are hounding you for liking a movie that they consider woke. Well, if you think any movie that someone would say is woke, uh go watch Black Christmas
That's it.
2019, and
That's your answer.
it puts all of them to shame because it's almost like you can't even tell if it's parody or not. It's so over the top bad. Like literally the bad guy is like masculine toxicity in sludge form. It's like
Yeah, that's the thing. One thing I
it's
noticed with
so
this
absurd.
past
It's like a
watch.
statue that just oozes goo that makes men become terrible people.
Yeah,
It's so
who
bizarre.
thought up this fucking idea? It's just
It
horrible. But
yes,
I literally have like I got gay friends, and I had gay friends say, "Hey, I'm like as liberal as you can get, and I'm progressive as you can get." And I thought, "Wow, this movie's woke as fuck!" Like literally,
yeah.
it's woke
The
when literal liberals, gay people are saying, "Wow, this movie just goes way too far, way
Sure,
too."
and it's got a couple of moments when you see the frozen girl on the balcony. I'm like, okay, that's a cool shot.
Yeah,
I'll get like, and then the opening kill in the snow. That's like the snow angel. But then when they drag her away, I'm like, now it's a dick in the snow. It
yeah,
just looks like a dick. I'm
it does.
like,
It's a dick in
like
the snow.
either that's brilliant or wow, or they're clueless. I don't know.
Nothing is earned in the movie. And one thing that I noticed
Yeah,
when I was watching it was it's horribly written, horribly written because none
yeah,
of the characters, like of all the female characters, the main group, not a
hmm
single one of them has an identifiable personality trait. I noticed this when I was watching.
no,
They're all
yeah,
just blank. They're
yeah.
angry blank spaces. That's all they are, just angry blank space. There's no time given to them as a character. So
hmm
when you have all this rage and anti-man jargon, then it's you don't earn it because you're not
Yeah.
giving it like they don't. I think if I had to say what they could have done, maybe that would help it because our main character Riley, she's SA'd in the movie, right? So that's
Mhm.
a good starting point to raise some emotion, raise some tension. So maybe have a scene there showing making us angry for her, but they just
Sure.
kind of out the gate, you don't get any kind of that build up. It's just she's
No.
angry. That's
It's it's
the opening of the movie. She's angry, and
it's
it's not her.
very it's very surface level, and there's no like redeemable male character in the movie
Mhm.
either, which is unfortunate because it would have been if somebody would be able to kind of echo that stuff and not be like the wussy main character guy that doesn't really fit that bill. It does have the most hilarious line though when the guy's like, not all men are blah blah blah, and the
Yeah,
girl's like, did you just not all men me? I'm like, shit, somebody wrote that. That's
I
wild to
know, man.
me.
You're
But
it's baffling.
dude, I lived in Portland for like 12 years. There are people that I met living there that are like those girls.
Oh, I
No
believe it.
joke. No
I've
joke.
seen it.
They exist out there. It's frightening.
And those girls they're everywhere. They're on X. You can find those girls, but I'm a character guy in a movie. Okay. When I'm in a movie, I'm in a world, right? And
Mhm.
you could have any type of character. I don't care what their background is, I don't care what gender they are. I need a story. I need
Mm.
a personality. I need everybody has a
Yeah.
personality, right? I need
Mhm.
some sort of background. You can't just give me a blank, angry slate. That you're not earning anything.
Yeah.
So all you're gonna do is really just piss off your audience. So, but Strangers Chapter 3, um,
Yes.
now I will say that's 3 movies. It's gonna take up your time. 2 movies right now. You would have to watch the first and second. The first one's really bad. I will say that. The second one, the second one's good. I think it's the Rob Zombie Halloween 2 situation.
Oh,
Rob
okay.
Zombie had to remake the first movie, and a lot of it feels like work. Like if on his end, it feels like, oh shit,
Sure.
I gotta do this, and I gotta do this, and I gotta tell this story. But Rob
Yeah.
Zombie's Halloween 2, he had carte blanche. He could do whatever he wanted. That's what Strangers Chapter 2 does. It goes into uncharted territory, and I do think they go to some interesting places. And I think it ends on a really cool note, setting up for a nice revenge story. So that's why I'm really
Mm.
excited for Chapter 3. Um, I'm not going to read this whole story, but this is the poster. Strangers Chapter 3 poster brings Madeline Pesh, final girl, back. I like the teaser because you know a little, but you don't know that much at all. But you kind of get the idea. You know that, okay, she's in the stranger's mask now,
Mhm.
but we don't know how she got there, which I'm glad. I want to find out how she got there. Did she infiltrate? Which I doubt it, because it's kind of hard not to notice her ponytail, red hair ponytail.
Yeah.
I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt writing wise on that one. Um, maybe she infiltrated before and then they gave her the mask. That's what I'm thinking happens. But Madeline Pesh is back one final time, Stranger Chapter 3 next year, the third and mercifully final installment for director Rennie Harlin's. I don't think they're that confident either. The Stranger Chapter 3 brings the saga to a close, and a battle damaged Maya makes her last stand on the poster for Stranger Chapter 3, which gives us an interesting suggestion that Maya will find herself underneath the pinup girl mask at some point during the course of the movie. Any theories?
Mhm.
Davey, I will say, when the first movie was coming out and they were hyping it up, like find out how the strangers became the strangers, I
Mhm.
think everybody's initial thought was, oh, maybe the strangers themselves were once victims.
Yeah.
And we still don't know that to this day. So maybe chapter 3 could offer some interesting
Yeah.
notes there.
That trailer makes me think, I'm like, I can't tell if she's getting vengeance or if she's just become like part of their cult. Like
Yeah,
if the trauma has like twisted her to where now she's a killer,
I mean,
you
it could be
know?
like Scout Taylor Compton at the end of Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. She didn't look like she was all there, right?
Yeah.
So maybe this takes it a step further, and we get to that point, and now she becomes a killer, and then maybe somebody kills her. I don't know. Um, I, I wasn't excited after I watched the first movie, because I was just like, wow, that's just a really watered down remake of the 2008 movie, which is really
Yeah.
good. But 2 and 3, it's like, after this is all said and done, if you're into this whole thing,
Mhm.
um, there would almost have to be some sort of supercut and just taking out
Yeah.
like most of the first movie, because it is tough to get through the first movie. But yes,
Or you just watch the original and then go to chapter 2. You skip chapter 1, but you watch the very, very first Strangers.
yeah,
Um,
yeah, who
it,
knows?
I'm getting a vibe here from the poster with like the burning floating embers, and then the text
Mhm.
looks like, like irons that you would use to brand a cow or something like
Yeah,
that. So I'm
I think
getting
there
some
is some
feeling,
branding in there.
yeah, that we might, because I haven't seen the other 2 movies. I don't know if that's an element already, but I would not be surprised if in this one that becomes a way that she gets her revenge.
Okay, we got the trailer here for, let's do this. Ready or Not 2. I haven't seen the trailer yet, so
All
give
right.
live reaction. Davey. All right. Now, without giving too much away, did you like the trailer?
I did, yeah. I did, and I liked the first film too.
Oh, I love the
It's my
first.
favorite radio silence film, easy. It's not even really close.
My stool almost went on my dog. I wanted to make sure I didn't pinch my dog. Oh my god, he'd be really upset. Levi's in diapers, by the way, because he's 15 years old now.
Wow.
Poor guy. Yeah, man. And he pees a lot. Because he's at that
Mhm.
age, and he
Yeah.
can't control his bowels anymore. So it's tough, man. Like, have you ever had an old dog?
When I was a very little kid, we had an old
Yeah.
dog, and it was sad. Like, she got sick and lost control of all that kind of stuff. And it's always tough whenever you have to say goodbye.
This is
it's never
the
easy.
first. I mean, we've had pets in the past, um, but we've never had one like this where we're around because we've had pets in the past that we had kind of because of my military situation or whatever, family
Mhm.
members took them or so I
Mhm.
didn't have to go through that process of the end of their life. Levi's
Yeah.
the first time I've ever had to do that. And I've had him since he
Mhm.
could fit in my hand like this. So
Yeah.
this last year's been super tough. It's not like not even having the same dog, even though
Yeah.
he looks the same and you get bursts of energy from time to time. But
Mhm.
his thing is if he gets too excited, he'll pass out almost every time.
Yeah.
He'll pass out, and it's freaking brutal. So,
It's
but
scary.
yeah, it is, and I'm at the stage now where I'm like preparing myself for it, but
Mhm.
I don't wish it on anybody, and I don't know if I'll get a dog again after just because I feel like I don't want to go through this again. It's so freaking tough.
Yeah.
But
I'm a kind of converted to a cat guy, and the benefit
yeah.
with a cat, if you keep them inside, they can live like 25 years. Like, it's crazy,
Yeah, my daughter, she's got 3 cats. They're cat people,
yeah.
My
Yeah,
son's a
I
dog person,
the
but
cats are just a little more like they just kind of take care of their own stuff. They come
yeah.
around when they want you. They're a little more independent. I like that. You
Mhm.
don't have to be like, shit, I got to get home and get my dog out. A
Having
cat's
a
like,
dog is like having a child,
yeah,
sometimes.
yeah.
It's a lot more work, especially at this phase in his life, but yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Ready or Not, I'm trying to remember because there was like a supernatural element to the first movie at the end,
Yeah.
and refresh my memory, why did everybody start exploding at the end of the movie?
Well, it goes back to like the original, like the original head of the family basically made a deal with the devil
Right.
to have like power and wealth and all that stuff. But the part of the deal is that whenever they bring somebody into the family, they have to play this game, and if it turns like sometimes it sounds like sometimes the game there's no deadly game, but occasionally there is, and when there is the deadly game, they have to complete it by like sunrise the next day or whatever, or else the
Yeah.
devil essentially takes them as payment.
Yeah, because wasn't there like a wheel that they had to spin and you had like different tasks or something like that?
So, yeah, there's different, and I'm guessing, I don't know. It seems like hide and seek is the only deadly game, and some of the other games were
Yeah.
just regular games to play. But whenever hide and seek comes up, like that's the one. But
Oh,
it
yeah, and wasn't this
yeah,
like the first time that it had landed on that, like in like
it
100
had been
years or something like that?
something crazy. It had been a
I can't
while.
remember.
Yeah, it had been a while. But
Yeah,
radio silence. It's
which is
very
cool
similar to
freaking.
the vampire explosions in Abigail. They're really into that sudden burst of
They're
blood
they're
just going
definitely into
everywhere.
explosions, blood explosions.
Yeah.
Their next movie should just be called Blood Explosion. Pissed Off or some thank you. That's one of the greatest freaking
That
channel
is a
names I've ever
great
heard.
screen name.
Pissed Off or
Thank you so much, Ryan, man.
we do hear
Appreciate
some
you,
good
bud.
ones, don't we?
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
Tanker Yanker. Yeah,
Yeah.
if you come up with a slightly dirty channel name, it's memorable, right?
Even Blazing Asian. I
Tanker
like
Yanker.
Blazing Asian,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, yeah, it just rolls off the tongue.
Yeah.
All right, so yeah, let's pull up this trailer now. All right, here we go. Thank you for that super chat, Piss. Okay, let me get back over here. And do I want it? Let's do the. Do I do the full screen? Let's try that. There we go. Okay, cool. All right, here we go. That's the end of the first movie. Okay, I'm gonna try not to pause this. Watch it one time through. Okay, here we go.
All right.
Hide and seek. You're really gonna play that?
I love Samara Weaving.
Thank God it's over.
Nope.
Shit.
You've caused quite a stir, Mrs. Ladomas.
Oh, fuck.
You married into that family. Now they're dead. What you didn't know is that this goes far beyond them. By surviving hide and seek, you've triggered a new game. This time against the High Council families. Double or nothing. This part will be familiar. They will try to kill you.
Welcome to our home.
Hunters, may the best family win.
Skippy screams.
The game begins in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
I'm not playing.
Uh-oh.
Okay. Pernilla, kill the system.
No, God damn it! Don't hurt her!
I love it.
Yeah.
Whoever wins runs everything.
Everything?
The world.
Can't believe you dragged me out of this shit.
It's exciting. What exciting for me?
Oh, God.
Clear.
Dude, Samara Weaving is her scream.
I know. Wow. Yes, yes, yes. Oh my God. Dude, that might have jumped to the top of my freaking list for next year. I'm dead serious. Holy crap.
It does look really fun. And it looks,
Yeah.
like, when I did my breakdown and everything, I was like, oh my gosh, are the two families that are hunting the girls, are they allowed to kill each other too? Because it's sort of a capture the flag. Because that would give it another little different wrinkle instead of it just being another, chasing the girls kind of movie. If they're, because
This is
the
some
one
world
guy
building
says
right here. I kind of relate it to the. Well, I was going to say, I kind of relate it to like John Wick. You know how the first John Wick movie was very small scale. We didn't realize how big this world could get. And then the second movie, then it just opens up. And I think that's sort of what they're going to do here. Now we know what the world is about. How far can we go with it? And you know that they're setting up for like at least a trilogy out of this.
Sure.
But Samara Weaving, man, she's like the secret ingredient too. Like she is just infectious. Like I can't think of, is there another actress that's that infectious today that you can think of?
I mean, as far as like really
put her in the right role,
like ridiculously attractive actresses that do good
have
work.
The talent to back it up.
Yeah, I think she might be like her and Margot Robbie are almost indistinguishable to me. They're both
they are. They're
ridiculously gorgeous blonde white women. Like I can't tell the difference. And they're both really good at acting as well. And they both do great. Like, I think Samara's American accent's really good because I think she's Australian, something like that.
Yeah, she is.
Yeah.
So is Margot Robbie.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Shit.
Yeah.
Wow. Maybe they are sisters. But I do think
they're growing them over there or something. I don't know.
I think Catherine Newton is a good pick for Samara Weaving's sister. I think they've got a similar enough look.
She was
said
great
something.
in Lisa Frankenstein, actually.
See, I still need to see that one, but I did enjoy her in Abigail. I thought she was really good in Abigail.
That quirky sense of femme fatale, sense of humor. She's got that, and I think those two together, it's a no-brainer, man. It's
and she's got Catherine Newton has this, like, I know she's blonde in this film, but she's got that Betty Boop kind of quality to her.
Yeah.
There's just something so cute and adorable. Like
Mhm.
she's got that kind of old timey look. But yeah, this movie looks really fun. Like Sarah Michelle Gellar, I love Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Seeing her
Yeah,
like get
that's a
to
bonus.
do action again. Her little snort laugh moment was like felt pretty natural there. And it doesn't look like we're going to get a lot of Kevin Durant based on what they show us in the trailer. That seems to be the first probably 10 or 15 minutes of the movie, but I love him. Even Clown in a Cornfield, which I didn't really care about too much, I loved him in that movie. So, yeah. And
Well, I
Elijah,
think every actress or actor, I think they want to have that opportunity to create a legacy type character that can carry over
Mhm.
multiple movies. And I think this is Samara's chance because she doesn't really have a franchise character yet at this point. Am I
Mhm.
right on that? I can't think of any sequels that she's done that
I don't
are
think
her
so.
vehicle. Like she was in
Yeah, I don't
Scream
think
6,
so.
but it's not her vehicle. So
Yeah.
this is her chance. She stars in this movie. If this movie, and this is one of those movies, like I can't tell if it's going to go through the roof box office wise because the box office is so unpredictable these days. Good movies are tanking at the box office. So
Mhm.
this is the type of movie that it has the chance to like go north of like 100, 200, maybe even 300 million worldwide at least. Just
Yeah,
because of how infectious it's like a crowd pleaser.
yeah, and it's coming out, I think it's April 10th. I think that's like a good time to put out, a movie like this because there's not going to be competition from like huge movies. At least we don't know of that yet. So I think it's good timing. I do think the first film is really accessible. And yeah, like you're saying, like the world building, like we could get to a third movie that's like maybe even a little more epic because there are kind of like demonic forces at work here. We could see a third movie that reaches, a Cabin in the Woods gets like so like epic and like larger than life, and you find out that there are literally like giant gods still running things.
Yeah,
Like,
Cabin in the Woods
like,
is so freaking great.
like we could see something like that happen in the third film because we know from the first movie, so it wouldn't seem like that big of a stretch. In the first movie, we know that there is, basically the devil is
Mhm.
behind everything.
Jason Carpenter says nothing can really win the box office anymore. Good Fortune with Keanu Reeves, which is good. I liked it. Roofman, Channing Tatum, which is good, and The Running Man with they were freaking great. Well, I mean that's just one man's opinion of all those movies. They don't have that, I guess, cultural phenomenon ability. I don't really like Good Fortune's good, but it's not great. Roofman's good, but it's not great. The Running
Mhm.
Man should have been a lot better than it was. For me, that's my opinion. But I was just going to ask you this, Davey. Do you remember like the last time a horror movie was a cultural phenomenon? And I'm going to give you an example. And there might have been one after. I'm sure you had like Paranormal Activity. You
Mhm.
had Blair Witch, and I believe Sixth Sense came out in the same year, and they were
Yeah.
both kind of like horror cultural phenomenons.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
has been one since Paranormal Activity, Davey, that I can't think of one that like hit that big. Halloween
Yeah.
2018 was close,
Yeah. Halloween.
but it
Halloween
wasn't like everybody
2018.
loved it.
And Michael was so like he had already become a phenomenon. So it was more of like, hey, remember that guy, and
Yeah,
a new
yeah. These are like
generation
newer
finding
movies.
out about him. Yeah, I mean, I would say like even though Sinners isn't really, it has horror elements, I do struggle to call Sinners a horror film because it's so much else going on. But that movie did really pop off. But yeah, you're right. It's not like to try and think of something that's like, I mean,
Yeah.
I
Like
guess maybe
somebody just
maybe we'll
mentioned Weapons. I'm going to look up Weapons box office right now. And
yeah.
because, okay, Weapons worldwide box office gross was $268 million. That is actually pretty damn good. Here's the thing: setting aside the bank that it made, yeah, that's great money.
Mhm.
Was everybody at your job talking about Weapons the next like when Sixth Sense came out? I remember
Mhm.
like when I went to work, there was like a fever in the air. Like everybody was talking about it, was all over the news. Have you seen this freaking Sixth Sense? There's a twist in it that's just like will freaking blow your balls off. It's complete.
Yeah.
Everybody was talking about it. Weapons is like it's still kind of a. I mean, yeah, it was a big hit, but if you can get Joe Sixpack talking about the movie, then you know you got something because you had
Yeah.
non-moviegoers going to see Sixth Sense because of what they had heard. Weapons
Mhm.
still that like I can't think of it. Paranormal Activity was the last movie, the newer property that literally had everyone kind of talking about it. So
Yeah.
it's an interesting topic, and I just don't think will we ever have that again? I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, I think maybe the Conjuring movies or like
Yeah, that's a good
Insidious maybe
example.
came close, you know, like as far
Conjuring
as
for
hitting
sure.
that mainstream audience. Yeah, but it's one of those things where it is, I think, you know, what Jason was saying about those movies being great, but not really popping off. I think there is something though about horror and comedy. So,
Yes, I was
you
just
know,
gonna say that. If
those
you can
other
get people
movies,
laughing and scared at the same time, you're
yeah.
onto something.
Or even just like I think that those other movies seem to be like, what the heck are they? Like, is Good Fortune really a straight up comedy, or is it just a movie that's like kind of funny? And same thing with the Channing Tatum one,
Yes,
whereas something like
exactly.
Ready
The
or Not,
one-time
or
watchers.
yeah, and even something like Final Destination Bloodlines from this year that like I think surprised a lot of people, right? And
Yeah,
did
I
very
loved it.
well at the box office because horror can do really well. You know, genre films can I think they can kind of outperform, and they usually don't cost as much. There's a whole
Yeah,
bunch of reasons why Hollywood struggles with movies that have Channing Tatum, Keanu Reeves, and Glenn Powell in them, and it's because usually they spend a lot of money making these movies. So it takes a lot. Like, don't be surprised if the next Avengers movie is technically a bomb
mhm.
because it's going to cost like $1 billion to make and market this fucker.
Did you
So they have
hear
to
that,
make 2 billion
I
to,
I
you
saw
know.
something that, Deadpool and Wolverine, like, they try to keep these budgets under wraps. I saw something, I think Sean Chandler was talking about this. That movie, they spent almost $600 million all said and done. So,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
after all that, like, are you if you make a profit, it's like, a cup of
It,
coffee and a couple nickels? Like,
it's
what?
usually the real budget of the movie is usually double what they report on IMDb because they usually spend as much money marketing the film as they do making the film. So I think they could make a couple tweaks in Hollywood that could start making these movies profitable again. Even Superman and Fantastic Four struggled to be like true
Dude,
successes. Even they're both, I think, pretty well made movies. I had a lot of fun with Fantastic Four, regardless
if
of how
you're
terrible the marketing was.
if
It's
you're
just awful.
fighting if you're on a hill fighting to prove that a movie was a box office success,
Then
then
it
to me
wasn't.
the movie wasn't a box office success
Yeah.
because
So
a box office success it's a no-brainer. Oh yeah, of course that movie it made $1 billion. It's for Superman made $600 million. I'm give or take $600 million,
yeah,
and people fight about if it was a hit or not. You know why? Because okay, there's a freaking spectrum here. It made 125 million or it made, $4. And either could be true. That's
yeah.
that's the that's the bad thing.
And Superman cost about $700 million probably to make and
Yeah.
market.
And
So,
the true budget of that movie, I don't think we'll ever truly know. I think
well,
there are people
yeah,
keeping those budgets under wraps.
they're never going to tell you what they spent on marketing, but you can
No.
always assume it's about the same. So it's just look at the budget that's on IMDb, and it's usually about double, very close
Mhm.
to double. In some cases, you know, they had to reshoot that whole Solo movie. That
Yeah.
movie probably cost close to $1 billion to make that
Yeah.
movie,
Yeah, because I
all
think
said
they
and
shot
done.
like did they shoot the whole movie and then said, fuck that, we got to redo this?
Yeah,
Or I
Ron
think it was like
Howard
maybe
basically,
two-thirds of it.
yeah, he basically reshot 2/3 is what they said, but then so it's a
Wow.
lot of money, and then you're marketing and you're paying your actors because who knows what their contract is. But I was thinking about putting together a series of videos because I have these ideas of things that I think could kind of save Hollywood. And one of the big
Yeah.
ones, I'll give you my big one. Have actors take a smaller paycheck up front
Yes.
and points on for being producer on
Mhm.
the back end. Jamie Lee Curtis did that with Halloween 2018. That movie cost
That
$10
was a
million.
smart move.
$10 million to make that
10 million.
movie. So she probably took SAG minimum and made a
Mhm.
shitload as a producer. So that's what Marvel should have done with Robert Downey Jr. because he's getting paid like, I think it's something like $80
It's
million
insanity, man.
just for him.
You could make 10 horror movies, good horror
Yeah.
movies, with the budget that they pay Robert Downey Jr. And
Yeah,
you know,
so
he's getting. I'm not mad at Robert Downey Jr. He's
no,
got a freaking really good agent,
yeah,
but I think I'm mad at the studio for agreeing to pay anybody that. I think it's just. I think honestly, if Doomsday bombs, I think we're going to see a complete reset of Hollywood.
yeah.
I think they're going to be like,
Doomsday,
okay, this is enough. We have to stop
yeah.
this.
Doomsday could be a good movie and still bomb because they just spend too much. And so
Mhm.
like and here's another great thing. My part 1A is if you have them be producers, guess what? Guess what they do? They talk about the movie when they go and do press. They don't talk about their weird politics and personal bullshit.
Yes.
Because
Thank
if
you.
they're a producer, they have a personal stake in seeing that the film is successful. They work better with their coworkers. They work better with the director, and they're gonna want to see the movie succeed. And so I think it would fix a lot of little things because even though Fantastic Four was a good movie, I was like pulling my hair out because every time Pedro Pascal opened his mouth, I was like, dude, you gotta shut up. You're a weirdo. And you're not even talking about your movie.
Yeah, like I don't know if it's their publicist, probably their publicist, but like recently you had was it Scarlett Johansson that basically that was it? I feel like I'm wrong on that, but one particular female celebrity recently said, no, it was Jennifer Lawrence. Yeah, Jennifer Lawrence basically said people don't listen to celebrities for political opinions. You know,
Yeah.
celebrities don't decide who wins elections, and she's right. Honestly, at
Yeah.
the end of they might get a couple people to vote, but at the end of the day, people go to the movies because they want to be entertained. And this is a conversation that we've all had a million times, but it's true. I think Hollywood's finally starting to figure that out because
Mhm.
it created this massive problem on both sides, you know, where you had filmmakers that were heavily left leaning, or heavily right leaning. Why can't I talk today? And it was like a fight back and forth. Oh yeah, I'm gonna make this movie that preaches. Oh yeah, well
Sure.
I'm gonna make this movie. You know, and it was just a back and forth type thing.
Yeah.
And then we ended up with a lot of really shitty movies that we didn't need. You know.
Hi, Erica. I see you in there. Lee has the controls for StreamYard, so I can't click on everyone's chats like I do over
Okay,
on
hold on,
my
let me see.
channel usually. But yeah, Lee, and I think it's fine that people talk about what they believe in. I just think that when you're doing marketing for your movie, you should keep you should want the movie to be successful. You should talk about the movie. So it's like, I'm not saying that Pedro shouldn't be able to like believe what he believes or even say those things. It's just like when you're out doing press, like you're a company man at that point. So do what's right for the company. Like you're an employee, act like one. And if you don't want to act like become a producer and it'll totally change the way you think because you'll be like, oh, yeah. I need Fantastic Four to make $1 billion. So I'm just going to like talk about how great the movie was and how awesome working with Joseph Quinn was and all this kind of stuff. And I mean, even Sydney Sweeney, who like half of the country or whatever, maybe a third of the country doesn't really like, she was they're in the middle of making Immaculate and they were like running out of money. And she was like, well, how about I give some money to the production and I become a producer and we can finish this movie the right way. And they made a really great movie. She gets to be a producer. I think Melissa Barrera, she's talked about becoming a producer as well. And I'm like, there you go, girl. Because if you're producing your movie, you're either not gonna you're not gonna fire or cut your contract for saying stuff. And you might also just sort of save those things for the right moment. So
yeah, and one thing I definitely have to stress as well is I'm not saying just make entertaining popcorn movies. You can have a message in a movie. Horror is known for kind of pushing the envelope in terms of not really political topics, but just social situations. I think horror, that genre handles it the best. But I think it's just got to be. It's got to have nuance, which is, circling back to Black Christmas 2019. nuance was thrown right out the window. You know, I think you got to kind of sneak under and get the viewer. First and foremost, they got to be entertained by what's going on, whatever type movie you're telling. If you're telling a slasher movie, then that should be your number one focus.
Yeah.
And then maybe, just maybe, at the end of the movie, you've created a character that's so great, so compelling, like a Sidney Prescott, that you start kind of thinking a little deeper. And maybe it affects your worldview on certain things because that character is just written so freaking well. But if you have a character that's just written horribly and they're screaming at you, that's just going to piss off your audience, you know?
Yeah, 100%. I just think the most important thing is the story and the character development. And then you can still, there's nothing wrong. All movies have some sort of message. If they don't, then there's really no point in watching them. But it's just about like, you know, like Romero is my favorite director. I love the movies that he wrote. He says so much about humanity. And he and I, like, you know, reading how he felt about politics, like he and I didn't necessarily agree on everything, but I think he makes very salient points in his films because he writes them very well. So it's not about like, oh, I just disagree with you, so I'm going to hate your stuff. It's just like, you just got to handle it. You got to be smart in your creativity. No one wants to be hit over the head. Even if you agree with a message, it's still cringy, you know?
Let's read some of our chat. Let's give them the floor a little bit. Chat, if you guys got any questions for us, let us know. But I want to read some of because your opinions matter to me. Linda says, I actually love Pedro for not giving a fuck and standing up for what he believes in. And that's awesome.
Well, and I guess I just mean that when we talk about like, why are these movies having a tough time, Linda? And Linda's a channel member over on the Davey Deathray side. So thank you for chilling here as well, Linda. But yeah, it's not that I just think like, you know, if he talked about the movie, maybe the movie would have done better. That's all. But yeah, I mean, people should stand up for what they believe in. Absolutely. And then people should also have awareness of self, awareness of others, and awareness of the situation, and like pick your spots, I guess.
You know what? And I can example, and Lynn's right. I a YouTuber, John Campia. John Campia has this rule on his channel that he does not talk about politics whatsoever. He's kind of leaned into like the woke talk and stuff like that from time to time. But then on his Instagram, because I follow him on Instagram, that's where he tells you what he thinks politically. And he even states that over there, like, hey, this is my personal space. And I think everybody has an opinion, be it political, be it social, be it whatever. You have the right to testify, to tell people what you think about it, to fight the good fight. I think that's a great thing. I think it's just picking your battles. I think that's what it is, you know, knowing the room, reading the room, right?
Yeah. If you want a bunch of people to, you know, because a lot of times we get talked to as audience members as like, you have to go support movies in the theaters. And it's like, well, the onus is actually on the creative people and the corporations that make these movies to give us a product that we actually want to go see. We don't owe them anything. This isn't church where you have to pay a tithe to Hollywood. Like, fuck that. And so it's just like if you're at a job where, ooh, I want to get a really good tip. I'm waiting tables. I want to get a good tip. Then maybe the person has a shirt of a band that you don't like, or they've got something that you don't like. You just act really sweet to them and you get that tip. And then later on you can go in the back and be like, oh my God, this fucker with the Creed shirt on or whatever. This guy's, you know.
What's this life for?
Did you hear I Ruined It guy put together Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer as Creed? Did you guys hear that? It's so funny. It's because it's higher, but he did Rudolph the Red. So it's like Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer out of a shiny nose. It's just like, it's so funny.
You sounded really good there, Davey.
Oh, well, hey, you know.
There you go. What did you get your Spotify Wrap yet? Do you listen to Spotify?
You know, I just do YouTube Music because I pay for YouTube Premium. So
okay.
I just do, I gave up on Spotify.
Wow, man, I've been
Yeah.
doing Spotify for what? Because I got the family plan. What's up, Cecil?
There
And
you go.
yeah, I got the family plan, and so both my kids and even my daughter's husband, because you can have like 6 people under it, and it's like
Yeah.
$15 a month. So, but yeah, I like the rap because it tells you like anybody in my chat, if you have the rap, can you just list me your artist that you listen to the most? Mine is Sleep Token, and I didn't even like. That's what like. If you're not sure, the rap will definitely tell you what you're most listened to
Yeah.
for
I
the. And
got
I think 5 Sleep Token songs are in my top 5, and I kind of felt, I was like, wow, am I like a Sleep Token stalker?
I got mine from YouTube Music, gave me mine. And I do want to say, what's up, Cecil? You sexy bitch.
There he is.
And yes, and Jamie put in there, she's like, I'm liberal. I'm so what? I love movies. And I feel the same way. Like, I think the things that we have in common are so much more important and so much of a bigger threat to the people in power that don't want us to find out that we have more things in common than we don't.
Yeah.
So that's why I love that movies can bring us together. And I genuinely do think that regardless of what somebody's beliefs are or where they fall on this huge spectrum, I do genuinely think that most people want their neighbors and their fellow countrymen and women to like have a really great, successful, awesome life full of love and happiness.
Yeah.
I got so YouTube Music gave me mine. They do the same kind of thing as like Wrapped. So my number 1 band is they're called the Beths. They're from New Zealand. I fucking love this band. They're one of the greatest bands I've ever heard in my life. And my top 5, so Leanna Bevy Rage, who's in the house, has so much influence on my music.
Oh
guys.
yeah, she's got great taste in music.
I've only known her for not even a year and a half, met her through Lee's channel, but 2 of the top 2 songs, Lying Through Your Teeth by Head Automatica, which is my friggin' divorce, anthem. And then Taken for a Fool by The Strokes. Those are both directly influenced from Leanna Bevy Rage. And then I have New Junk City, which is a great little Earthworm Jim reference. Iron Chic from Brooklyn, New York. They're great. And then Tom McDonald, Adam Calhoun, and Dax. So I got 1 rap song in there.
And you can see my list right here, and man, it's a lot of Sleep Token.
It's a lot
like,
of Sleep, and Tom Petty just in the middle there.
All Sleep Token, because their new album, man, I wore that thing out this year. But then you got President in the Name of the Father. Have you ever heard that song?
I haven't. I've heard like 1 Sleep Token song. They're very like theatrical, right? They're like theatrical kind of black metal, or would you call them black metal?
No, they're definitely not black metal. They're it's more, man, it's hard to categorize Sleep Token. And if you call them metal, there is a certain sect of the music community that will try to freaking lynch you. How dare you call them metal? They get really mad. I think people that hate Sleep Token love to talk about Sleep Token more than people that love Sleep Token. They're almost like they're a cultural phenomenon right now. Everybody's because I think you have to have talent, right? If you're a cultural phenomenon, whether you like their music or not, you have to have talent. And I think they got the talent to back it up. I think, they have one of the best drummers working today. And then they got Vessel, who's just a very unique, enigmatic. The whole band's enigmatic, but yeah.
So they're called progressive metal. Do they have keyboards? Do they have a keyboard?
Oh yeah, they do. Because Vessel plays the keyboard.
I would just always consider because that's what I consider black metal is when you've got when it's like got a synthy something like that.
No, I think you're thinking, because I think of black metal, I think of bands like Mayhem, and really super heavy. You can't read the logo for their name because it looks like the forest.
I thought that was death metal, but I love that. Yeah.
Just no, death metal is actually more like metalcore. Well,
dude, metal has every band. I used to joke with a buddy who played in a metal band called Order of the Gash in Portland. And I'm like, dude, because they called themselves flesh-eating robot metal. And I was like, every band has its own genre. That's how wild metal is. It's so theatrical and fun.
I have some Tool in here. That's my favorite band. And then, if you go down, you get away from the Sleep Token. You start seeing, like, I got some 80s stuff in here that I love too, like, there's a song by Journey, Only the Young. Yeah, actually, let's see. I'll play a little bit of it. Dude, I love that song. Have you ever heard that song?
I haven't. The one Journey
You've
song I
never
like
heard
is
Only the Young?
it
Let me give you the
doesn't
chorus.
ring,
Let me give you the
it doesn't
chorus.
ring a bell. But I love. I've probably heard it. Yeah, I've probably heard it.
Man, that song pumped me up. I don't know what it is. Listen to the whole song when you get a chance. But there's a movie called Vision Quest that came out in the 80s
Yeah.
that has one of
Matt
the
Modine.
greatest freaking soundtracks ever, by the way. And Matthew Modine is in it, and he's a
Mhm.
wrestler.
Mhm.
Like actual
I think
high
I know
school
that movie. It was
wrestling.
shot in Spokane, Washington, I
Yeah,
think. I have
dude,
family
I
out there.
lived in
Yeah.
Spokane, Washington for 2 years,
Oh, no
and
way.
I remember seeing it in the 80s, but I rented it while I was living in Spokane just to see if I recognized every location in the movie. It was
Yeah.
so cool.
That's really cool.
But man, some great music. And that song is when he's running. I
Yeah.
do like what's your favorite sports movie? Do you like sports movies?
Yeah, I mean, sports movies, because I'm a big sports fan. So the ones that stick out to me are, I mean, Major League. We talked about that earlier. That first Happy Gilmore movie, I really like that
Yeah.
one. Slapshot. Slapshot's great. The original Bad News Bears, that kind
Yeah.
of stuff.
Yeah, that's a
I dig
classic.
that. I'm trying to
My
think if there's like a football movie I really love. Like, I like some football movies.
I'm trying to
I don't know
think,
if I-
is there a really great football movie? Any Given Sunday, but even that's not one that I like reach for all the
Yeah.
time. It
Like when
seems
I
like
was
baseball movies have the have you
Yeah.
ever seen Bull Durham?
Yes. Yeah.
Dude, that's one of the greatest freaking baseball movies ever made.
Yeah. Kevin Costner and
God.
Tim Robbins, right?
Yeah. That movie, it's got
Yeah.
some of the best dialogue, best character. Oh my God, I got to highlight this one. Wildcats. Nobody ever talks about Wildcats.
Oh my
It's one of
gosh,
my
Goldie
favorite-
Hawn.
Goldie Hawn, Woody Harrelson, Blade. God, why am I drawing
Wesley
a blank?
Snipes.
Wesley Snipes, yeah. Back then, man, rated R sports movies, they didn't hold back. And you heard
No.
the entire Urban Dictionary thrown at you. These days you
Yeah.
don't get that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Liana just lit it up right there. I was just gonna say Hoosiers. Hoosiers is one of my
yeah.
all-time. My number one is Rocky. Number two is Hoosiers. For like straight up sports movies. Man, I've watched Hoosiers so many times. Have you ever seen Hoosiers, the basketball movie?
I don't think so. Maybe a little bit on TV, but I know
With,
what it is.
Gene
Gene
Hackman?
Hackman. Yeah.
Oh man.
Oh, The
Yeah,
Natural.
man.
Leanna
He's
brings
this
up.
like basketball coach. He's really great, but he's got Natural's good. Gene Hackman has a temper and a half though, and it got him in trouble. And he punched one of his students. And so they send him to this podunk town, and he has to coach this team, and the entire town is against him. It's one of those
Mhm.
in small towns, everybody knows everybody's business. Everybody judges
Sure.
people before they even get to know them. So this movie just has such a great story, great characters, and then the basketball. He teaches these life lessons. It's not just basketball; it's just like life lessons. Like if you want a
Yeah.
movie with like some of the best life lessons ever, Hoosiers. And then you got the star player Jimmy, who's reluctant. He doesn't want to play. He doesn't talk, and everybody's begging this guy to play. And I don't want to give too much away, but then there's a point in the movie where he's like, "I'll play, but coach stays." Because they want to do everything they can to get rid of Gene Hackman. They want to fire him
Gotcha.
so bad before even
So it's Dead Poet Society with a basketball team.
pretty much. And it's so good. Oh my God. It's
I see
a feel good movie.
Miracle. Amanda dropped a Miracle in there. That one's good.
Miracle's
I like
a good
that.
one.
I did like Blindside. Ashton put Blindside in there.
Blindside.
Yeah, Waterboy is really fun. I do think Waterboy is pretty fun.
Waterboy. Foosball.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Slam Dunk Ernest. No.
Yeah. I do love sports movies, I think, choke me up more than most genres. If they're done, it's like if they're done right, they choke me up. If they're done wrong, I don't want to ever watch them again. That's the weird thing about sports movies. They can be horribly wrong, or they can be the greatest freaking movie ever. And it's almost like there's like no in betweens with sports movies. So
yeah, That's a good point. Yeah.
Mhm.
And some of them are a little too on the serious side, and I'm just like, I can't do it.
You got to earn it. You got to earn it. You know?
Yeah, I did. How about all the cyborg backstory stuff in the Zack Snyder extended cut of Justice League? I thought that was really cool. All the football stuff, like that whole scene, I was like, this is great.
Man,
I mean, it's
Zack Snyder's Justice League is fantastic, and it's sad that the Justice League version, he cuts out pretty much 95% of
all the interesting shit. Yeah,
all the interesting stuff.
Yeah. Oh, Mighty Ducks. Ty brings up Mighty Ducks. That's a good one. I like that one. Yeah.
Amy Hart, I love I, Tonya. And I guess as a sports and like a sports movie that inspires you, I don't know about that, but it's a damn good story. Like, Margot Robbie is in it, but yeah, I thought that was really good. So, I guess we're going to wrap it up here, Davey. I think we talked about everything we want to talk about, but damn, this was fun, man. I had a really
we
good
didn't
time.
talk about Bone Temple Pilots, my favorite band.
Oh yeah. Do you want to talk about that real quick?
No, we're cool.
I haven't even looked at the trailer yet.
I think it looks better than the last movie. I think it looks better than the last movie. A lot less.
Here's the problem I have right now. I don't even need to pull up anything for it. We can talk about it real quick. I am like, before I saw 28 Years Later, the one that just came out.
Yeah.
28 Days and 28 Months were like gold to me, like probably my top two of that genre. You know, the zombie genre or whatever you want to call it, the virus genre.
There's zombies.
I was so freaking pumped for 28 Years Later. And it let me down. And maybe it's just because my brain was in a different spot. Yeah, I was wanting something different. What I got with those first two movies, you know. Whereas this one, it felt like it hit the clutch too much. It stepped on the gas. I mean, it pulled off the gas too much. It wasn't a four to the floor crazy zombie movie. Like, it was more character driven, story driven, which is fine, but you know, it wasn't those first two movies. So this Bone Temple movie, they got to win me back, I guess.
Yes.
You know, is that how you feel?
Me too. I gave 28 Years Later 2.5 stars, and I thought that was being pretty nice.
Yeah, same.
And here's my big thing with it, Lee. It's not a 3-act story. It's a 2-act story. It's Spike with the dad and Spike with the mom. And there's a little addendum to end the movie, but there's not a third act. And people are like, oh, well, they're going to make 3 movies. And I'm like, well, that's still bullshit, because every story isn't complete without 3 acts, really. You know, all the Star Wars movies have 3 acts and they all fit together like pretty damn nicely, you know? And with 28 Years Later, I really loved all the Aaron Taylor Johnson stuff with Spike.
Yeah,
I loved that. And the fact that he's basically not in the second half of the movie was really bizarre to me. Here's how they can win me back. Okay. So if they make these 3 movies, if the first act of this movie is kind of like the third act of the last movie, and each one of these movies is almost like 3 2-act plays. So then you still get 6 acts between the 3 movies. I don't know, but I will say this: whenever you get around to watching the trailer, Nia DaCosta's the way she frames shots and the way the movie looks.
I do like that she's directing it. And I'm a Danny Boyle fan. He's an icon, but what the shit he was doing it was like he was jerking off. That's what it was like. Instead of actually telling a story, the editing, the direction, it just felt too jagged, like all over.
What was with the editing? Why do I need to see stock footage of like archers? Like, what the hell are we doing?
It was like
in this movie?
Flexing, and you're Danny Boyle. You don't have to flex. Just tell me this is the 28 series. Just
It was so bizarre. In this movie, like, Nia DaCosta looks like she has a really good eye for where to put the camera. Yeah. I do think Jack O'Connell I know the Brits have been enjoying him for years now, but now
he's great.
He's so good in Sinners, and he looks in the trailer so far. They even just put out an international trailer and you see more of him. He looks like he's going to be a frightening villain. And
I loved him in Sinners.
Yeah. And I'm curious to see what happens with Ralph Fiennes' character here, because even though I didn't enjoy the second half of 28 Years as much, I really liked him. So I think this movie could be better. That's what I took away from the trailer.
It's got nowhere to go but up.
Could be better.
So is there going to be a third one? Like, is this?
That's the plan. I think. I think that's the plan. Is there's going to be a third movie. I don't know who's going to direct it. If it's going to be another a third party is going to come in, or if Nia DaCosta is going to take that one. I'm not sure, but I think they're trying to get them all done within. I don't know if the third one's supposed to come out like next fall or next winter. I don't know. Some people love it too, Matt.
Yeah,
Matt, I love your channel, man. Anytime Matt jumps in, I'm like, it blows my mind. Love your channel.
That's it. Matt's onto something there that I didn't really talk about. It does have a quality to it that I could see having like a cult following. You know, like it's not a badly directed movie, even though I guess I kind of feel like it's badly directed.
I think
as
the
far as
editing's
my
worse than
liking.
the direction. Yeah, I think.
But
it's the
yeah, there's
editing
definitely
for me.
there's a mess. There's like an artistic stamp there that they're going for. So I can see if like people like Matt love the movie. And I'll even say, like, it came to Netflix, I think last month or something like that. And I was like, oh, 28 years later, I should be excited to throw this on. I'm not, but let's go ahead and throw it on. And again, I am a massive, massive fan of those first two movies. I've watched them almost yearly ever since they came out. I've seen them so many times. That's the problem with years. I feel like I'm not going to want to watch it that much because I couldn't make it through this last watch on Netflix when it came. I was just like, I got better things to do.
Yeah,
It's sad.
To me, it's bizarre because
I
it's
love you,
like,
Matt, though. Yeah.
I love the acting, and there's I liked the score of the film. It's just the 2-act, storytelling that I really didn't appreciate. And man, I was the biggest Aaron Taylor Johnson hater. And then I watched Nosferatu and 28 years later, and I was like, in Nosferatu, I thought he was the best part of the movie. That's a movie I'll probably never watch again. Really, really good movie, but I never have to watch it again because I've seen that Dracula story so many different ways.
Yeah,
but he was so good in it.
The story's been told a million times.
Yeah, and he's so good. I think we're gonna see him in this next movie too. I want more of Aaron Taylor Johnson there for this installment. But yeah,
he was also really good in Bullet Train. He kind of stole the show.
I'm thinking top 3. I still need to see Bullet Train. Top 3 for me this year. It's so tough. I'm kind of like, I want to go like Sinners, Together, and Toxic Avenger because I just like want some wild shit thrown in there.
I'm going to give you my top 3 right now since you gave me your top 3. Jason Born Slippy, he says Sinners, Bloodlines. Almost said Fantastic Four, Bloodlines. Weapons, Predator, Badlands are my top. Okay, so my top is Predator, Badlands. That's my number 1. I think it's Weapons and Sinners after that. Okay. I'll have to re-look at my list, but I think that I feel good about saying those 3. Like Predator, Badlands, it's a movie that shouldn't be number 1, but the way I felt when I got up out of my chair and I walked out of that theater, I didn't feel like it was just a well-rounded movie experience. That's what it felt like. I got everything. My nachos were excellent. I mean, just this movie delivered on it. I almost cried a couple of times. This movie gave me everything. It was just, and it felt like a big blockbuster type movie. It worked, man. And the relationship between Deck and his brother in the movie, it had a little bit of everything, and I loved it so much. So, yeah, Badlands, man. You've seen it, right?
I still have to check it out.
Dude, I watched it twice in the theater. It's the only movie this year, I think, that I went to see twice in the theater. I loved it that much. Yeah. Man,
I've seen quite a few twice, but I think my most surprising movie, not horror, might have been F1. Because I know nothing
I haven't seen F1.
That.
I need to see that one.
But the way they tell that story, you learn as you watch the movie, and then it feels like you're in that world. The way he did the same thing with Top Gun Maverick, the same director, where you really feel and I watched it at the Dolby Theater. Oh my God, my ears were like tickling from the rumbling. Like you feel like you're
Top
in one
Gun
of those
Maverick
cars.
kind of fits in what we were talking about at the beginning of the stream, an exhilarating experience with an extended runtime.
That last
Top Gun
act.
Maverick had that.
Yeah. Yep. So how about this, Lee, before we head out? Okay. We watch movies on my Discord, guys. So if you join the Davey Deathray Discord, it's totally free. We watch movies there all the time. It's really fun, and we talk a lot of fun shit to each other. It's a good place to hang. What's your most anticipated of 2026? Is it Ready or Not 2 after seeing that trailer?
Dude, it might be. And what I should say is Doomsday, but it's really not, because I've been let down so many times by Phase 4 and Phase 5. couple of bright spots, but yeah, it Scream 7. I'm not gonna lie. Okay. I know a lot of people like to front and say, I don't, if you gave them Scream 7, here, you can watch this right now, they'd be like, oh my God, yes. So yeah,
I would freak the fuck
I would
out.
freak the fuck out if somebody sent me a Scream 7 link right now. I'm not gonna lie. Okay. I want to see that movie like you read about. Okay. But yeah. So I get it's probably Scream 7. If I like said, hey Lee, you can watch any movie you want right now. What's it gonna be? It would probably be Scream 7 just so I could avoid spoilers. You know?
That's a good point. I know what mine is, and mine is like way too obvious. But I don't think mine's gonna change unless a trailer comes out that looks very underwhelming.
Right.
But my most anticipated for next year, Evil Dead Burn.
Oh yes. I'm
Give
totally
me
down for
that now. I need it so bad, you guys.
You're the Evil Dead fan, and I've never asked you this question. When Evil Dead Rise came out, there were quite a few people, mostly people that didn't like the movie. They called it Evil Dead Light. And I didn't think that was a fair criticism because in the last act, dude, it's a freaking bath. So maybe it is Evil Dead Light, but not horror light.
It is, I would say, compared to the 2013 film, it does feel a little light to me. I was I was so jazzed for it, burden of expectations, all that kind of stuff. I saw it in the theater. I walked out being like, man, I didn't love it. I wanted to love it. And then I purchased it. I've watched it numerous times, and I'm like, this movie, it's really growing on me. But
Evil Dead Rise.
I think Evil Dead Rise walks to the edge of the cliff and doesn't quite dive in all the way. Really? And for whatever reason, they held back. I know originally it was going to be HBO Max, so maybe they just like had to hold back because of budgetary or whatever. Not that the movie doesn't have big moments. It certainly does. However, based on what they showed in the trailer, like we got the cheese grater, the glass poking through the neck in the trailer. I'm like, oh, dude, if they're showing that in the trailer, this fucking thing's going to be bonkers. But some great performances there. And one thing that I always talk about, I did a little video on my channel about this, and maybe I need to like revisit this idea and do something more ambitious with it. It is a pro-motherhood movie. It's a great movie to watch around Mother's Day. And it's a movie that's like, doesn't hit you with a message, but by the end of the movie, you realize that your main character, who is wondering if she wants to keep this baby that she's, just found out she's pregnant with, and because she doesn't think she can handle it. It's not like, oh, it's going to be a burden to me. She just like really doesn't know if she can be a mom. And everything she goes through with the experience with the Deadites shows her by the end of the movie, yeah, you can do it. You were built for this shit. And I just think that's such an awesome message that we don't really see. And I thought it was, subtly told. I don't hear anyone else talking about how it's a pro motherhood movie, but that's what I took from it. And that's why I've grown to love it.
Yeah. And was the protagonist, was her name Beth in the movie? Yeah. Yeah. I loved Beth. I thought she was one of my favorite protagonists of the year.
Oh yeah.
If you give me a protagonist that I can just really get behind, because she just went above and beyond to try to save the children because the mother had freaking, she was a Deadite. So yeah, man, I loved Evil Dead Rise. But what do you got on the horizon? Anything you want to promote before we get out of here?
Yeah, I mean, guys, I've been covering the news. So when, a handful of stories drop, I just, keep an eye out for, my horror news episodes. So I basically sift through all the stuff that maybe you don't want to, scroll through Bloody Disgusting for, and just give you all the goods right there. I do my trailer reactions and quarter speed breakdowns. Those are fun. I'm calling those trailer terrors. And I've got some fun stuff planned for 2026. I'm going to be doing like a horror movie club with my channel members, so that's going to be great. Yeah, I don't know. I'm super pumped for Silent Night, Deadly Night next week. Yeah, there's just so much going on.
It's same here, man. Crazy. Like I said at the beginning of the show, I got so much stuff I got to get to. It's I just watched Black Christmas 2006 last night after I got 2019 out of my system. Loved it even more. So I gotta record a revisited for that. I'm gonna do the original. I got freaking Silent Night Deadly Night coming out. I might get an early screening for that for Silent Night Deadly Night, or a screener sent to me so I can watch it at home. But I'm as far as this month, Silent Night Deadly Night, man, I can't wait. That's the one I'm dying to see because I do love that franchise. I'm one of the few that loves that franchise. So
I think this one could be really special. I think we're gonna get like a Bonnie and Clyde kind of thing. We're gonna get
I'm hearing nothing
something.
but good about it. So
Yeah, I'm very pumped. So yeah, a whole bunch of stuff, you know, always bringing people on the channel, doing stuff with the horror show guys. And I think one thing that's coming up here on the 13th of December. So back in October, I did the, you know, that marathon fundraiser for the food bank out here in Phoenix. And then my friends Sam and Brendan over at Our Life of Horror, they're doing a marathon on Saturday the 13th of December. They're going to be raising money for charity, so I'm going to be popping on over there. So I'll share that on my channel and everything, guys. If you don't subscribe already, you're just going to get like this kind of personality and a whole bunch of audience engagement. So I recognize a lot of the names in the chat, but if you haven't come on over yet, then
that's a great.
don't be shy.
Yeah, that's a great
don't be
thing.
shy. There's a spot right next to me. It's I'll keep it warm for you.
Yeah, guys, make sure if you're not subscribed to Davey's channel, be sure to do it. I always have links to his channel and Nick's channel. So check out his channel in the info box. So, but yeah, and we're gonna try to get a hit the bricks maybe before Christmas if that's possible. We're gonna try to do that. Yeah, we should definitely do that, and have Nick back. Get the team back together. I will still put this particular episode. I'll put it on Spotify like I've been doing with the Hit the Bricks, just as a bonus, so that way you guys can listen to the playback. But yeah, guys, that's it. I hope you guys have a wonderful, wonderful week. Take care of each other. Love you guys.